Mexico is being torn apart by a brutal drug war, as rival cartels are locked in a battle for dominance over the lucrative United States drug market. And to keep the drugs flowing north, the guns must flow south. To find out more about American guns in Mexico, we traveled to Washington to meet Agent Charles Hauser of the United States Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, the agency tasked with policing gun trafficking.
It's commonly thrown around that 90% of the guns that are seized in Mexico were originally from the United States.
I can move that number around a little bit. I can get it maybe down to 85 or up to 93. Does it really matter when last year 30,000 guns were recovered in Mexico that we know came from the United States?
So we're just now leaving El Paso, and just a short walk over the border here, over this bridge, is Juarez, Mexico. One of the most dangerous cities in the world.
According to the ATF, many of the guns and ammunition smuggled from the United States come not in large shipments that are at risk of being intercepted, but with individuals who, like us, are rarely searched crossing over into Mexico.
We're all carrying bags, and as you can see, we're walking across right now, and nobody checks.
This woman is one of the few who gets caught. She crossed the border successfully with all this ammunition hidden in a shopping cart. She was only stopped when a police officer noticed her unable to lift the heavy cart onto a city bus. She had covered the bullets with canned goods in a crude effort to hide the contents inside.
Right here we've got ammunition for an AK-47. This is definitely illegal in Mexico, but legal in the United States. Oh, we understand you're an American citizen. Yeah. Have you done this before? No. Did you buy all this in the U.S.?
No, I didn't buy it.
Okay. Pretty typical. He's poor, has 2 kids, and was just looking to make a little extra cash, acting as a mule, getting this stuff across.
Okay, this is your typical AK-47 long gun.
In the El Paso office of the U.S. Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, Agent Robert Champion showed us some of the weapons and ammunition that his team has seized on its way to the border with Mexico.
This is the American version of the AR-15 type firearm.
This is what the cartel is really liking, right?
Yes. This is a 50 cal, belt-fed 50 cal, attempted to be smuggled into Mexico before we intercepted it.
You can buy this legally in the U.S.?
Yes.
What is this used for?
I mean, I think these are what they're using right now to a certain extent in Iraq and Afghanistan.
And how difficult is it to purchase a gun like this in the United States?
Go to a gun show without any paperwork and purchase these guns, as many as you want.
What Agent Champion is referring to is what is often called the gun show loophole. At gun shows along the border, unlicensed individuals are allowed to sell guns, including assault weapons, without performing a background check or filling out any paperwork. To understand how the gun show loophole works, we went to meet Rick Bolaños, a gun collector who lives on the U.S. side of the border near El Paso, Texas. Rick served in Vietnam with his 4 Mexican-American brothers and earned a Purple Heart when he was shot in the stomach with an AK-47.
We live right across the border from Ciudad Juarez. All you have to do is look at the news every single day. 20 people died or 50 people died. Those weapons are coming from here.
Rick took us to a gun show a few minutes from Juarez, Mexico, on the U.S. side of the border.
The ironic thing about it is that these same drug smugglers will use those weapons that they purchased in the United States against our border agents, against our ICE agents. So we're being killed by our own weapons. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to purchase weapons there.
Okay, so we're going to time ourselves, give ourselves 1 hour and see how many weapons we can walk out with.
Absolutely. It's without having going through criminal background checks, without having to show identification, without answering any questions other than here's the cash.
The gun shows have a strict no filming policy, so Rick and I were outfitted with hidden cameras.
If I can get your driver's license, sir.
The licensed dealers at the gun show are required by law to conduct background checks before selling guns, and most of them do. But the law allows unlicensed individuals to sell assault weapons from private collections right alongside the licensed dealers. These unlicensed individuals are not required to run a background check or fill out any paperwork.
No tax, no title, no license.
Don't need to do any documentation or anything like that?
With him you do, with me you don't.
Yes, sir.
I'm a private individual.
You guys don't do a background check or anything?
We're private.
I probably wouldn't pass one, so.
After we told him that we probably would not pass a background check, the private seller sold Rick 2 AR-15 assault rifles. Over the course of the next 30 minutes, Rick purchased one high-powered assault rifle after another, without being asked for ID or filling out any paperwork that would allow the guns to be traced back to him. As we were preparing to leave the gun show, we were approached by 2 men speaking Spanish and driving a car with Mexican license plates.
Hey, Doc. Yeah. This one is a 7.62, 7.62.
For sale? No.
The men offered to buy all of our guns on the spot with cash.
Those guys have perfect, no dialect Spanish from Mexico.
Back at his house, Rick unloaded the weapons he bought at the gun show, enough firepower to arm a small gang.
7.62. All of the native soldiers use them. Another Bushmaster with scope. Looks like it's pretty much unused. You know, real popular with drug runners in Mexico. These are the types of weapons that they see down south. And 40 minutes would be stretching it. You know, really the time that it took to go in there and purchase these weapons probably totaled about 30 minutes.
And it was all perfectly legal?
It was all perfectly legal.
Why did you want to show me all of this?
Truthfully, what I want to do is I want to wake America up. I want to wake America up to the fact that people are dying over there in Mexico needlessly. You know, I want them to show them some compassion. We can't stand by and let 45, 50,000 people get killed, 17, 20, 25, 30 people at one time, just because we don't want to close up our gun laws.
Back in Juarez, no one knows better what the effect has been of guns flooding onto the streets of Mexico than our guide and bodyguard, Miguel Macias. We went with Miguel to the funeral of his cousin Mario, whose crime scene we filmed the night he was murdered.
This is Mario and Mario's family. In front to me is Mario dead. I see people die every day. Today is different. I feel different. Oh man. So it's back to work.